I stood quietly in the shadowed corner of the grand ballroom, my eyes fixed on my sister, Lily, twirling gracefully in her extravagant $25,000 wedding dress. Her laughter, bright and carefree, echoed across the polished marble floor, while my credit score, like a silent anchor, sank deeper with every passing moment. The chandeliers above sparkled, their golden light catching the glimmer of her diamond tiara, casting her as the radiant star of the evening. It was the same infectious laugh she'd used 2 months earlier when she came to me, tears in her eyes, pleading for me to co-sign a loan for her dream wedding. My name is Barbara. I'm the responsible sister, the dependable one, the one everyone turns to when life gets messy. Some might call me the boring one, but I prefer to think of myself as the steady hand in a family full of chaos. And tonight? Tonight, I'm the one carrying a loan that feels like a ticking time bomb, strapped to my future, ready to explode at any moment. Barbara, darling, why aren't you out there dancing? My mother, Margaret, asked, her voice laced with that familiar tone of disappointment that always seemed to follow me. She gestured toward the dance floor, where Lily and her new husband, Kevin, swayed together, moving as if they were the only two people in the world, lost in their own perfect bubble. Someone has to make sure the vendors get paid, Mom, I replied, my fingers tapping on my tablet, where I was tracking every payment, every detail. Unless you'd like to handle the final invoices yourself? She scrunched her nose, adjusting her luxurious silk shawl, as if the mere thought of dealing with money was beneath her. That's your thing, sweetie. Handling the practical stuff. Lily's always been our creative soul, you know that. I bit my tongue, swallowing the words I'd held back for 28 years. Instead, I forced a tight smile and glanced down at the loan document on my tablet, my eyes scanning the fine print for the 100th time, ensuring the clause, the one I'd insisted on including, was still there, buried deep like a hidden trap waiting to spring. Do you remember when Lily first showed us this venue? My mother continued, her voice dreamy, as if she were lost in a fairy tale. She just knew it was the one, worth every single penny. Every penny. All $80,000 of them. I remembered that day vividly, but not with the same rose-tinted nostalgia. I could still see Lily's tear-streaked face, mascara running like black rivers down her cheeks, as she begged me to co-sign the loan. Please, Barbara, she had sobbed. The bank won't approve us unless someone with good credit steps in. You're the only one who can help us. You're the only one we trust. That's because I actually pay my bills, I had said, my voice sharp with frustration. It's what family does, our father had added, barely looking up from his newspaper, his tone as casual as if he were commenting on the weather. Your sister would do the same for you, Barbara. I nearly laughed out loud at that. Lily? Do something for someone else? She'd never lifted a finger for anyone but herself. I swear I'll make every payment, Lily had pleaded, clutching my hands tightly, her eyes wide with desperation. Kevin's business is on the verge of taking off. We're going to be rich, Barbara. Please, please, please help us. Now, as I stood in the ballroom, I watched Kevin lean in to whisper something in Lily's ear, making her giggle like a schoolgirl. Then he glanced across the room, caught my eye, and raised his champagne glass in a mocking toast, a sly wink flickering across his face. I raised my glass in return, but my mind was elsewhere, wondering if Kevin even knew about the clause in the loan agreement. I wondered if either of them had bothered to read the contract before signing their names in bold, careless strokes. Just then, Mrs. Thomas, the wedding planner, appeared at my side, her clipboard clutched tightly. The photographer wants to know if we're still doing the sunset photos on the terrace, she said, her tone brisk but polite. Of course we are, Lily exclaimed, suddenly materializing beside me, pulling Kevin along by the hand. Barbara, you're in them too. You have to be. You made all of this possible. If only she knew how true that statement was. I let her drag me outside, the warm glow of the setting sun bathing the terrace in golden light. Lily's flawless face seemed to radiate as she posed near the railing, her dress catching the breeze. Our parents joined us and the photographer arranged us like pieces on a chessboard, crafting the illusion of a picture-perfect family. Closer together, the photographer called, his voice cheerful. Big smiles, everyone. This is a celebration. I smiled, but my mind was on the email I'd received that morning from Amy, my friend in the legal department. It's solid, she had written. The clause kicks in the moment they miss a payment. If they leave the country without setting up a payment plan, the full responsibility shifts to the original co-signers, your parents. They signed it too, Barbara. You're covered. Oh, I remembered. I remembered every signature, every tear-filled plea, every guilt trip that had led to this moment. One more, the photographer shouted. Everyone say, happily ever after. Lily wrapped her arms around me, her breath sweet with champagne. I love you so much, sis, she whispered. You're the best. The absolute best. Over her shoulder, I caught Kevin checking his phone, his face flickering with a brief moment of concern before he slipped it back into his pocket. 2 weeks ago, I'd seen him book 2 one-way tickets to a country with no extradition agreement. He didn't know I knew. That night, back in my hotel room, I opened my laptop one last time. The loan document glowed on the screen, all the signatures lined up like soldiers, Lily's flamboyant cursive, Kevin's bold scribble, my parents' hurried scrawls, and my own neat, deliberate name anchoring them all. The clause waited there, silent but powerful, like a coiled snake ready to strike. I touched the screen lightly, my heart steady. Let's see who pays now, I whispered. My phone buzzed with a message from Lily. Thank you for everything, sis. You're the best sister anyone could ask for. Love you forever. I didn't reply. Instead, I closed the laptop, poured myself a glass of wine, and settled into the quiet. The real wedding gift hadn't arrived yet, but it would. And I was prepared to wait as long as it took to deliver it. 3 months later, I sat at my favorite coffee shop, staring at my phone's call history, 35 missed calls to Lily, 17 to Kevin, and 53 unanswered texts. They're still ignoring you, Amy said, sliding into the seat across from me with 3 steaming lattes. How many times have you checked Instagram today? I opened the app and tilted my phone toward her. Lily's latest post stared back at us, her and Kevin beaming on a tropical beach, holding colorful cocktails, their smiles as bright as the sun behind them. The caption read, "Living our best life, debt-free, and following our destiny. So blessed. New life, no regrets." Amy's glossy nails tapped the table rhythmically. You knew they'd do this, she said, her voice low but firm. Knowing doesn't make it hurt any less, I replied, opening my messages. Look at this. My mom sent it this morning. The text read, "The bank called again, Barbara. Please handle this. You know how your father's blood pressure gets when he's stressed. Have you told them about the clause yet?" Amy asked, leaning forward, her eyes sharp. Not yet, I said, my voice steady. I'm waiting. My phone buzzed again, a voicemail from Lily. I played it on speaker. Hey, sis, sorry I've been so hard to reach. The Wi-Fi here is just terrible, she said, her tone light, as if she were chatting about the weather. Anyway, about those payment reminders you keep sending, I know you'll figure it out. You're so good with money stuff. Don't work too hard. Love you. Amy raised an eyebrow, her lips curling. The nerve of her. Wait for it, I said, holding up a finger as the message continued. Oh, and could you stop calling so much? Lily's voice took on a slight edge. It feels kind of desperate. Kevin says it's messing with our vibe. Thanks. Kisses. I deleted the voicemail as Amy muttered something sharp under her breath. You sure you want to go through with this? She asked, her tone softening. Legally, you're in the clear. Morally? Let them sink. It's not about watching them sink, I said, opening my email. It's about making sure they don't walk away dry. My phone buzzed again, a text from my mom. Barbara, please call me. The bank is getting very serious. I showed Amy the email I drafted for the loan agency. The contract was attached, the clause highlighted in bold, along with proof that Lily and Kevin had fled the country. Send it, Amy said, her voice firm. Stop dragging this out. I hesitated, my finger hovering over the send button. Once you do this, you'll finally be free, she added, reaching over to squeeze my hand. Remember what they did to you. Your dad's medical bills, the college fund they drained for Lily's art school, the down payment for her first car. Just then, my phone lit up with another Instagram notification. Lily had posted again. Some people just can't handle seeing others live their dreams. You're toxic. Family boundaries. Blessed. I hit send. Done, I said, feeling a strange hollowness inside. Now we wait, Amy said, lifting her coffee cup. To karma. To contracts, I replied, tapping my cup against hers. That evening, I sat alone in my apartment, the sunset painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. My phone rang. It was Christian, my ex-boyfriend. I just saw Lily's posts, he said without preamble. Are you okay? Why wouldn't I be? I replied, my voice calm, steady. Christian had been there during the worst times, when I'd drained my savings to cover my dad's heart surgery, when I'd worked 2 jobs to keep the family afloat while Lily jetted off to Europe for a surprise vacation. Because you always take care of everyone, he said gently, and no one ever takes care of you. I thought about the email I'd sent, the clause that would soon land squarely in my parents' laps. That's changing now, I said. Good, he replied. It's about time. After we hung up, I checked my inbox. The loan agency had already responded. Dear Miss Barbara, we confirm receipt of your documents regarding the liability clause. Our legal team is reviewing, and we'll take the next steps. Expect contact within 72 hours. My phone buzzed again. A message from Kevin. Real nice, Barbara. Lily's crying. Hope you're happy. I typed back, you should have read the fine print. Then I blocked both Lily and Kevin's numbers. I poured myself a glass of wine and opened a folder on my computer labeled Records. Inside were years of receipts, bank transfers, and proof of every dollar I'd given my family. The total could have bought me a house, a home of my own. Instead, it had bought me this moment, the moment I finally stood up to the people who'd taken me for granted for so long. My mother's old words echoed in my mind. It's what family does. I smiled into my wine glass. Yes, Mother, I whispered. This is exactly what family does. I remembered the day I helped craft that clause, 2 months before the wedding. I was sitting in Amy's living room, surrounded by takeout containers and piles of paperwork, her lawyer friend on speakerphone. You want this to be airtight, the lawyer had said. Something they won't notice, but that holds up in court. Amy refilled my wine glass. Tell him about the medical bills again. $130. 000, I said, my voice tight. Everything I'd saved, gone, because Lily needed a soul-searching trip the same month my dad needed surgery. And the college fund, Amy added. Borrowed, I said bitterly. Never paid back. Lily's art school mattered more than my MBA. The lawyer paused, then spoke. We can make this work. The trick is to keep it simple so they won't question it, but strong enough to be legally binding. Now, sitting at my desk at work, I looked at the final version of the clause we'd written. If the main borrower leaves the country without arranging a payment plan, all responsibility transfers to the original cosigners, who agree to pay the remaining amount. Simple. Clear. Powerful. My office phone rang. Barbara speaking. It's Amy, she said, her voice brimming with excitement. Just got the update from legal. Your parents are being contacted today. I checked my email, and there it was, a message from the loan company. As per Section 6.9 of the agreement, the responsibility has been transferred to Austin and Jerry. They will be contacted within 48 hours. How long do you think until Amy started? But my phone lit up. My mother was calling. Gotta go, I said. It's starting. I let it ring 5 times before answering. Hello, Mother. What is this? She shouted, her voice trembling with panic. These people are saying we owe $80,000. This has to be a mistake. No mistake, I said calmly. Check your email. I sent you the contract. You signed it. I could hear her shuffling papers, her breath sharp and uneven. We didn't. We only signed as witnesses. Read Section 6.9, I said, my voice steady as a rock. More rustling, then a heavy silence. You tricked us, she whispered, her voice breaking. No, Mother, I said. I learned from the best. Remember what you always told me? It's what family does. But your father, his blood pressure. He'll be fine, I interrupted. Just like he was when I paid for his surgery while Lily was off posting selfies from Paris. That was different, she said weakly. She needed to find herself. Yes, I remember, I said. And now you need to find $80,000. She started crying, the kind of tears that used to break me, that used to send me rushing to fix whatever mess she or Lily had created. But not anymore. Now, they just made me feel tired. We'll call Lily, she sobbed. She'll fix this. I laughed, a sharp, humorless sound. Good luck. Her number's been disconnected. This isn't you, Barbara, she said, her voice soft and pleading. You're not this cold. Actually, this is me, I replied. The real me. The one who's done being treated like a bank. The line went quiet, her shaky breathing the only sound. Then she spoke, barely above a whisper. What do you want? I want you to pay the debt you signed for, I said. I want you to face the consequences. I want you to know how it feels to be responsible, just once. But we're your parents, she said, her voice trembling. Yes, I said, and you taught me everything I know about family loyalty. I hung up and turned off my phone. Through my office window, I watched the city below, alive with people navigating their own struggles, their own betrayals. My computer pinged a new email from Lily, sent from a new address. You're controlling. You always have to win. Happy now? Mom's a mess. Dad's chest hurts. And it's all your fault. I never should have trusted you. You're dead to me. I forwarded the email to Amy with 3 words, worth every penny. Her reply came instantly. Your sister's about to learn that karma accepts Venmo. I opened the bottom drawer of my desk and pulled out an old photo from our last family vacation. Lily stood in the center, as always, our parents beaming at her, while I lingered off to the side, checkbook in hand, paying the hotel bill. My office door creaked open. My junior associate peeked in, looking nervous. Miss Barbara, I need a favor. Could you co-sign on the Miller account? It's just a formality. I looked at him, then at the photo, then back at him. No, I said firmly. I don't co-sign anything anymore. He blinked, clearly startled by my directness. But it's just a standard form. So is paying your own bills, I replied, turning back to my computer. Try that first. As he left, I turned my phone back on. There were 16 missed calls from my parents, 7 new emails from Lily, and 1 text from Amy. How does it feel? I typed back, like freedom. The collection agency moved quickly. Just 2 days after the clause kicked in, my mother showed up at my office unannounced, her mascara smeared from crying. They're threatening to put a lien on our house, she said, collapsing into the chair across from me. Your childhood home, Barbara. You mean the same house you remortgaged to pay for Lily's art school? I said, my fingers still typing. That childhood home? That was different, she said, her voice trembling. She had potential. And I didn't? I looked her in the eye. Is that why you took my college fund? We borrowed it, she said weakly. Borrowing means you return it, I replied. I pulled up an old spreadsheet. Would you like to see the exact amount you still owe me, with interest? My office phone buzzed. Miss Barbara, your 3 p.m. is here. Tell them I'll be 7 minutes, I said, then turned back to my mother. The collection agency is being quite fair. They'll accept monthly payments on the $80,000. She wiped her tears with a fancy handkerchief, probably another gift from Lily, bought with someone else's money. Your father can't sleep, she said. He keeps checking our bank accounts, trying to find money that just isn't there. Like I did when he needed surgery, I said, my voice flat. She flinched. That was years ago. Why are you still holding on to that? Because someone has to remember, I said. Someone has to keep the receipts. My phone buzzed with a text from Lily. Mom's crying because of you again. You're so controlling. You always need to win. Happy now. I showed the message to my mother. Your perfect daughter sends her regards. She's scared, my mother said softly. She's still young. She's 29, I replied. I was 25 when I paid for Dad's surgery. But you're stronger, she said, her voice almost pleading. You can handle things. I leaned back in my chair, letting her words hang in the air. That's interesting, Mother. Tell me more about how being used makes me strong. She stood abruptly, her chair scraping the floor. I didn't raise you to be this heartless. You didn't raise me at all, I said. You were too busy spoiling Lily. We'll lose everything, she whispered. No, I corrected. You'll lose everything because you signed that contract. That's the difference. What do you want from us? She asked, her voice breaking. I smiled, a cold, steady smile. I want you to deal with the results of your choices. I want you to know what it feels like when no one comes to save you. My phone buzzed again, a video call from Lily. I answered, putting it on speaker. You evil witch, she yelled, her face red with anger, tears streaming down her cheeks. Mom just called me, crying. How could you do this to them? The same way you always did it to me, I said calmly, except I used a contract instead of fake tears. We're family, she screamed. Exactly, I said. And this is what family does, remember? Behind her, I saw Kevin pacing, talking rapidly on his phone, his face tense. Visa problems? I asked, my tone dripping with mock innocence. Lily's eyes widened. How did you? It's amazing what happens when your credit crashes and there's an international debt notice in your name, I said. My mother gasped. You didn't. I didn't do anything, I said. Consequences did. Wasn't that your favorite word, mother? Right before asking me to fix another one of Lily's messes, Lily looked like she might break down. They're going to cancel our visas. Kevin's business deals are falling apart. Everything we've built. You built nothing, I cut in. You ran away from your bills and your responsibilities, like always. The only difference now is there's no one left to clean it up for you. Girls, my mother pleaded, we can fix this. Barbara, if you just pay. No, I said, standing up. My 3 p.m. is waiting. You both know where the door is. Please, Lily cried. I'm your sister. They're your parents. Funny how that only matters when you need something, I said. I ended the call and turned to my mother. The collection agency's number is on the letter they sent. I suggest you call them before they call you again. She walked to the door, then turned back. You'll regret this one day, when you need your family. I've needed my family many times, I said. Where were you? After she left, I sat in my quiet office, my hands trembling slightly. My phone buzzed, a text from Amy. Drinks tonight? You look like you need them. I typed back, bring wine. And the contract. I want to frame it. Another text popped up, this time from my father. We didn't think you'd actually go through with it. I replied with one line, that's always been your problem. Then I turned off my phone, straightened my desk, and called in my 3 p.m. meeting. I had real work to do. Bills don't pay themselves, just ask my family. The family dinner was my mother's idea. Thursday dinner, like old times, she'd said on the phone, her voice dripping with a sweetness that felt rehearsed. We need to talk about everything, like adults. I arrived right on time. My parents were already seated at the dining table, a spread of my favorite childhood dishes laid out like a carefully set trap made of memories. Your father made your favorite lasagna, my mother said, serving me a generous portion. Remember how you used to help him in the kitchen? I remember buying his heart medicine right after making that lasagna, I said, setting my fork down. Let's skip the nostalgia and talk about why we're really here. My father cleared his throat, his face tense. The bank is getting serious. Banks usually are, I replied, especially when people don't pay them. We've looked at some options, my mother jumped in, her voice overly bright. We could sell the vacation house. The one I was supposed to inherit? I said, laughing bitterly. You mean the one you remortgaged to pay for Lily's wedding? You're not being fair, my father said quietly. I pulled out a folder and placed it on the table. Let's talk about fair. Inside was a spreadsheet, meticulously tracking every dollar I'd ever given them, complete with dates and reasons. Page 1, Dad's medical bills, $30,000. Page 2, Lily's art school, $50,000 from my college savings. Page 3, Lily's first car, $10,000. Should I keep going? My mother pushed the folder away, her hands trembling. We're not here to dig up the past. No, I said, you're here because the collection agency won't stop calling. We raised you, my father said, his voice heavy. We gave you everything. You gave Lily everything, I corrected. I worked for everything I have. My phone buzzed, a text from Amy. How's the ambush dinner going? Before I could answer, my mother reached across the table and grabbed my hand. Sweetheart, please. We can fix this together. For the family. I pulled my hand back. Where was this family when I worked 2 jobs to pay for Dad's surgery while Lily was posting pictures from Europe? She was finding herself, my mother said softly. And now she's lost herself in another country, along with $80,000 of my money, I replied. My father stood, his face flushed. We didn't think you'd actually use the contract. We thought you'd understand. You thought I'd let it go again? I said. That I'd cover for them again? Family takes care of each other, my mother said, her voice trembling. I stood too, pushing away my untouched plate. Funny how that only works when I'm the one giving. We'll lose the house, my father said quietly. Then sell the vacation house, I replied. But that was supposed to be your inheritance, my mother said. I raised my phone and showed them Lily's Instagram post from last summer, her and Kevin at the beach house, lounging by the ocean. You mean this inheritance? The one you let them stay in for free. They exchanged a guilty glance. You knew, I said slowly. You knew they were planning to leave the country. My mother stayed silent, her eyes fixed on the table. That silence was all the confirmation I needed. You helped them plan it, I said, my voice low. You thought I'd just pay off their debt, like I always do. You're stronger than Lily, my father said quietly. You can handle these things. Not anymore, I said, grabbing my purse. Call the collection agency. Set up a payment plan. Sell whatever you have to. I'm done handling your problems. Barbara, please, my mother called as I walked to the door. What will people think? I turned and met her eyes. They'll think you're finally dealing with the consequences of your choices. How does that feel? I stepped outside and sat in my car, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. My phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number, Kevin using a new phone. Got your little message about the visa issues. Cute. But you forgot something. I know things about your company, things that could ruin your career. Want to rethink your move? I forwarded the message to Amy with 3 words, time for phase 2. She replied instantly, let's bury them. Back at home, I poured myself a glass of wine and opened my laptop. I clicked on a folder labeled Insurance. Inside were saved emails, messages from Lily and Kevin plotting to skip out on the loan, discussing their plans to flee the country, and proof that my parents knew and went along with it. I started drafting a new email to the loan agency's fraud team. I have information about a planned loan default. As my phone rang, my mother again, I ignored it and hit send. Sometimes, I whispered into the silence of my apartment, the best family dinner is the last one. The fallout came quickly. The next day, Amy rushed into my office, holding up her tablet. It's happening, she said, turning the screen toward me. Social media was ablaze. Someone had leaked parts of the loan papers to a financial whistleblower site, and the story was going viral. Lily's latest beach photo was flooded with comments. Must be nice to live in luxury while avoiding your debts. How do you sleep at night knowing your sister's paying for your life? Financial frauds pretending to live their best life. My phone buzzed again, Kevin. What did you do? Our sponsors are pulling out. I typed back, I didn't do anything. The truth did. Another notification, an email from my father, subject line, we need to talk. The message read, meeting at the house, 8 p.m. Come alone. Amy read it over my shoulder. It's a trap. I shut my laptop. Maybe, but I'm going anyway. You want backup? She asked. No, I said. It's time to end this. The house looked smaller than I remembered, its shadow stretching long in the evening light. My father sat alone on the porch steps, looking older than his 63 years. Your mother's not here, he said as I approached. I asked her to let me handle this. Handle what? I asked, crossing my arms. He pulled out a thick stack of papers. We found these in Lily's old room. She left them when they ran. I flipped through them, printouts of emails, bank records, texts. A clear trail of their plan to steal the money and disappear. You knew, I said quietly. You knew all along. He rubbed his face, his hands trembling. We thought you wouldn't go through with it. You never do. You always forgive. You always fix things. Not anymore, I said. The collection agency called again, he continued. They're talking about fraud, criminal charges. I looked him in the eye. Actions have consequences, Dad. His eyes filled with tears. She's your sister. And I'm your daughter, I said. Did that ever matter to you? Silence hung between us, heavy with years of unspoken pain. We got a call from Lily an hour ago, he said finally. Their visas are being canceled. Kevin's business partners are pulling out. They're stuck. Karma doesn't whisper, I said. It hits loud. Can't you stop this? He asked, his voice breaking. I sat beside him on the steps, keeping my distance. Do you remember when I was 17 and wanted to go to that summer coding camp? I asked. He stared ahead, saying nothing. You said we couldn't afford it. 1 month later, Lily needed a new laptop for her photography hobby. You bought her the best one money could buy. Barbara. I'm not fixing this, I said, standing. I'm done fixing everything. My phone buzzed, a video call from Lily. I answered, holding the screen so my father could see. They're freezing our accounts, she cried, mascara streaming down her face. Kevin's business people are talking about fraud. What's happening? The truth is happening, I said calmly. How's that going for you? We're stuck here, she screamed. The embassy won't help. Our credit cards don't work. Sounds like a you problem, I said. She spotted our father in the frame. Tell her to stop this, she shrieked. He looked at us, helpless. I don't know how. That's right, I said. For once, you don't know how to fix something for her. Weird feeling, isn't it? Lily's face twisted with rage. You evil jealous. I ended the call. My father stood slowly, his hands shaking as he clutched the stack of papers. What do you want from us? He asked. I want you to sit in this mess you helped create, I said. I want you to feel what it's like when no one rushes in to save you. I want you to understand what you did to me all these years. We loved you, he said, his voice cracking. No, you used me, I said. There's a difference. My phone buzzed, a message from Amy. The fraud department wants to schedule an interview. Ready for the final nail. I looked at my father. I have to go, I said. I have a meeting about fraud charges. Please, he whispered. We're family. That stopped meaning anything the day you chose her over me for the last time, I said. As I drove off, I glanced in the rearview mirror. He stood there, still holding those papers, alone in the dark outside the house where I'd learned a painful truth. Blood means nothing when love only flows one way. The collection agency didn't waste time. Within a week, they started seizing my parents' assets. From my office window, I watched the listing for their vacation house go live, the same house I'd once dreamed of inheriting, now up for a quick sale. A few days later, my mother showed up at my office without warning. Her makeup was flawless, but her eyes were red from crying. They're taking everything, she said, her voice trembling. Not everything, I replied, my fingers still typing. I'm not doing anything to you, I said calmly. This is just the result of what you put at risk. Why are you doing this to us? She asked, her voice breaking. I met her eyes. I'm not. The contract is. She slammed her hand on my desk. Look at me when I'm talking to you. I looked up. Like how you looked at me when I begged you not to take my college fund. That was different, she said. You always say that, I replied, but it wasn't different. It was just another time you chose Lily over me. My phone buzzed, an email from the fraud investigation team. Interviews scheduled with Lily and Kevin via video call. Your presence is requested. They're investigating Lily for fraud, my mother whispered, reading over my shoulder. She could go to jail. She should have thought of that before planning to run away from her debts, I said. My mother sat down, looking shell-shocked. How did you become so cold? I learned from the best, I said. I turned my screen toward her, showing Lily's latest social media post, a video of her crying, talking about being hurt by a toxic family. She's scared, my mother said. No, I replied, she's manipulating again. Only this time, it won't work. My phone rang, it was Amy. Turn on the news, she said, skipping any greeting. I opened a live stream from a local business channel. Kevin was being escorted out of a meeting by security. The headline at the bottom reading, local startup founder under investigation for international fraud. My mother covered her mouth. Oh God. Actions and consequences, I said quietly. Funny how that works. They're stranded, she said softly. Their visas are gone. Their accounts are frozen. Like how my bank accounts were empty after I paid for Dad's surgery, I said, when I lived on ramen for 3 months while Lily posted pictures from Paris. The office door opened. My father walked in, looking weary, defeated. "We sold the vacation house," he said. "Below market price, but it'll cover part of the debt." "Congratulations," I said. "You're finally learning about financial responsibility." "Only took 63 years. Barbara," my mother said, "we can still fix this as a family." "We were never a family," I replied. "We were just a support system for Lily." "There's a big difference." My phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number, Kevin again. "Please, we're desperate. The embassy won't help. Lily's having panic attacks. Name your price." I showed the message to my parents. Now he wants to make a deal. Interesting how people suddenly want to talk when the money runs out. "What are you going to do?" my father asked. I started typing. "My price," I said out loud, "is everything you took from me, plus interest." "Tell him to calculate it." "I'll wait." "They don't have that kind of money," my mother said, panicked. "Neither did I replied. "Not when you took my college fund. Not when Dad needed surgery. Not when Lily needed bail that one time." But somehow I found a way. My computer pinged another email from the fraud investigators, asking for more documents. I opened the folder labeled Receipts. "I have a meeting to get ready for," I said, standing. "You can let yourselves out." "Wait," my father said. "The house. They're talking about putting a lien on it." "Then you better start packing," I replied. My mother broke down into tears, real ones this time, not the crocodile tears I'd grown up hearing whenever she wanted something. "Why did you do this to us?" she sobbed. I walked to the door and opened it. "You did this to yourselves." I just put it in writing. After they left, I sat back down and checked my email. Lily had sent a long, rambling message, one of her usual apologies, the kind she only sent when she needed help. I didn't read it. I deleted it immediately. Amy appeared in the doorway. "Ready for the fraud interview tomorrow?" "Ready to end this," I said. "They're your family," she said softly. "No," I answered, pulling up the final piece of proof, photos of my parents helping Lily pack her bags 3 days before the wedding. "They're just people I share DNA with. Real family wouldn't have done this." My phone buzzed, a text from Lily, "I'm sorry. I really mean it this time. Please help us." I replied with 5 words, "Sorry doesn't pay back $80,000. Then I turned off my phone, opened the fraud case files, and started preparing my statement. Tomorrow was the final nail, the one that would sever every last tie they'd used to pull me back into their lies. This time, I would end the story my way. The beach was quiet, just me and the seagulls soaring overhead. I sat on the sand, holding the final notice from the collection agency. Debt resolved through asset sales. Case closed. My phone buzzed, a message from Amy with a news article, local couple caught trying to sneak across the border. Now in custody. I smiled. Lily and Kevin had tried to re-enter the country through Italy. It didn't work. Another buzz, a message from my mother. They're being held for questioning. Please help. I typed back, new phone. Who's this? The wind blew, scattering her next 5 messages across the sand before I could read them. I didn't try to pick them up. My laptop chimed, an email from the fraud team. Thank you for your help. Charges have been filed. Good, I whispered to the waves. A shadow fell across my screen. I looked up. My father stood there, his suit hanging loosely on his frame, making him look smaller, older. The house is sold, he said, sitting beside me in the sand, slow and heavy. We're moving into an apartment next week. Downsizing can be healthy, I said. Your mother, he paused. She's not handling it well. He picked up a handful of sand and let it slip through his fingers. I'm not here to ask for anything, he said finally. I'm here to say you were right. I closed my laptop. About everything, he continued. We failed you. We let Lily drain you dry. We weren't parents to you. We were just helping her take from you. His voice cracked. Took you long enough to realize, I said. I saw the spreadsheet, he added. The one with all the money you gave us over the years. Did you know the total is almost the same as what your mother and I just lost in assets? Karma's good at math, I said quietly. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. We found this in Lily's old room. It's addressed to you. Dated the day before the wedding. I opened it. It was a note in Lily's handwriting. Dear B, by the time you read this, we'll be gone. Thanks for being such a reliable ATM all these years. Don't worry, Mom and Dad will guilt you into fixing this too. They always do. Love, Lily. She never saw you as a sister, my father said softly. And we didn't treat you like a daughter. We treated you like a solution. I folded the note carefully. And now? I asked. Now we see you as someone we lost because of what we did, he said. He stood, brushing the sand off his pants. I'm not asking you to forgive us. I just wanted you to know you were right. My phone buzzed, a message from Amy. Holy hell. Lily and Kevin are facing federal charges. Your parents' statement sealed it. I looked up at him. You testified against them. We told the truth, he said simply. He turned to leave, then paused. That spreadsheet, the total amount you gave us, it could have bought this beach house. It did, I said, motioning to the beautiful home behind us. I closed the deal this morning. His eyes widened. You bought the vacation house we had to sell? Yes, I said. Below market value, because you needed to sell it fast. He nodded once, as if he finally understood, then walked away. I watched him disappear down the beach, smaller than ever before. My phone lit up, a video call from Lily, from a detention center. I answered. They're charging us with fraud, she cried. Mom and Dad testified. How could they? How could you? How could you leave me with $80,000 in debt? I replied. That's different, she said. We're family. Not anymore, I said. I held up my keys. Remember this view? The beach house you loved? It's mine now legally forever. And you're never stepping foot inside it. She started, but I ended the call and blocked the number. Amy appeared at the top of the stairs leading down to the beach, holding 2 champagne glasses. Ready to celebrate the new house? She asked. Almost, I said. I pulled up my banking app. Everything was in the black. Every account in my name, no cosigners, no guilt, no family debt. To karma, Amy said, handing me a glass. To contracts, I said, smiling. And to finally choosing myself. We clinked our glasses as the sun set behind my new beach house, casting everything in soft, golden hues that felt like justice. My phone stayed quiet, no more calls about family emergencies, no more guilt, no more manipulation. Just peace, a home in my name, and the gentle sound of waves washing the past away. Sometimes revenge doesn't shout. Sometimes it arrives quietly in legal papers and property titles. Sometimes it's simply closing the door on people who only saw you as the one to fix their messes. And sometimes it feels just like this, like freedom. Please feel free to comment below if you liked this. Remember to like and subscribers for more.